And the way that you'll be able to increase all of these things and get the most beneficial interest rate and the best deal is by having a really good credit score. And you build that credit score largely by managing debt. An easy way to do that is through a credit card.
Okay, so essentially as well, a good score gets them lower interest rates on those sort of loans, like a mortgage.
Which might not, you might think, okay, well, I'll get a 3% interest rate on a mortgage instead of 4%. Big deal. Over 30 years, 3% compared to 4%. If we did the maths really quickly, let's assume a house price of £300,000.
Yeah.
3% on 300,000. Let's say the mortgage is £300,000, so the maths is easy. 3% on £300,000 is £9,000 a year. So you break that down into monthly payments. Compare that to 4%, and you're talking £12,000.
Yeah.
So it's £3,000 a year. Over 30 years, it's almost £100,000 saved by just having a marginally better credit score because you were able to manage your debt. So it can easily build up into six figures difference by having a better credit score, which you can take simple steps now to save yourself long-term huge amounts of money.
Exactly. And £300,000 is the average house price, and 4% is the average rate for mortgages these days, right?
At the moment, yeah. I mean, things are relatively sticky from an inflation perspective at the moment.
It's going to be quite high this year. They said that we're going to have the highest, I think, amongst the Western countries in the UK.
So in the G7, we're predicted to have the highest inflation. Yeah. We stuck at 3.8% this month. 3.8% is, takes into account, it's a basket of goods essentially that you'd get from a supermarket. But actually, if you just focus on things that most people spend their money on, like food and energy, then food is at 5.1% inflation. Energy is even higher than that. So the majority of most people's spending is increasing significantly more than the CPI figure that we see in the news, which is it's a concern. That's not something that that we want to be seeing, and it is a rate that's higher than, like I said, all the other G7 countries, and what appears to be. I went on holiday a couple of months ago to Menorca, and you just feel like everything's so much cheaper.
Yeah.
Whether it's fuel, food in particular, what you can get out there food wise, whether that be in a restaurant or the supermarket, everything is just so much cheaper. Our food prices in this country have been getting increasingly higher and higher at a really worrying rate.
Bag of shopping, 30, 40 quid all the time, just one bag.
Yep.
Troubling.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why inflation. That's why interest rates tend to be at around about that 4% at the moment, because the central banks ideally want to bring that interest rate down because they want to stimulate the economy. And you do that by putting more money into people's pockets. So if you can bring the interest rate down, you bring the repayments on mortgages down, which creates a surplus in most households. And therefore, they can use that surplus to go and spend in the economy.
Yeah.
Helps give the economy a boost. But if inflation won't come down further, you've got to balance those two things, because you don't want prices to get crazy. Because if you suddenly start giving people more money while inflation's quite high and they spend that surplus money, prices will keep soaring. Yeah. So you have to try and control those prices by, as harsh as it sounds, by squeezing household income. It's a very difficult balance that the central banks and government have to play. But that is that's why interest rates are where they are. Probably 2.5% to 3% is your average long-term interest rate. 2% is the target inflation that the government try to get down to.
Let's say, if you can get 2%.
Yeah, if you can get 2% interest rate, that's lower than your long-term average.
You're doing well.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody's going to be able to get that now, because most interest rates will be base rate, as in Bank of England rate, plus, point something %, or maybe even flat base.
What's the lowest someone could possibly get?
Well, the Bank of England rate now is 4%, I believe.
Okay.
So that's going to be as good as you're going to get.
Okay.
But that is liable to change any time the Bank of England meet to discuss the base Bank of England rate.
So, and also with credit scores and stuff, even with just renting, you need a good credit score just to rent these days. You need to be able to have proof of good earnings, not have, I guess they do credit scores some places, don't they, as well? Like they really check and see how much you're in debt and so on, and if you can actually meet those payments.
Yep. There's lots of this. I mean, it's not just buying a house. It might be taking finance out on your car, might be taking finance out on a piece of furniture. If you are in a career that's a responsible profession, I get every year I have my accounts checked, and if there's any hint that there's a debt problem, then I'd have my license taken off me, because they'd be concerned that I wouldn't be practicing with they'd be worried that there'd be incentives for me to try and clear debt through, I don't know what they'd be too concerned about, but that's something that if you have a career involved in finance, then
they'd think that you'll manipulate something to work in your favour.
They'd be concerned that you'd be incentivized the wrong way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, there's lots of reasons why having a good credit score is a good thing. And it's not just about controlling debt. There's lots of really simple things you can do to improve your credit score. And it's things like making sure you're registered on the Electoral Roll. Don't change addresses too often. These things are hopefully very much in your control.
So a little tip for people as well, touch on the holiday situation. I was booking to go to Thailand the other day.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to Thailand next month.
Yeah.
And normally to go to Thailand, it's about like an 11-hour flight. So most flight operators do a stopover somewhere.
Yeah.
As we all do when we're searching for a holiday, I look on Skyscanner. How about you?
Yeah, I look at Skyscanner. Yeah, I've got my Skyscanner app.
I look on Skyscanner. I check who's available, how long it takes and so on. They showed me a few airlines, Etihad being one of my favourable ones.
Yeah.
I've been stung in the past by using comparison sites where I've ended up paying more than if I booked direct.
Yeah.
So I went to Etihad direct. I checked the flight price. The flight price was the same. But what Etihad also offer is a 2 days free stayover in Abu Dhabi on the way to Thailand. And that's in a luxury hotel for 2 nights for free.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So I managed to get 2 nights in Abu Dhabi for free in a nice central hotel. I think it's Trip by Wyndham.
Yeah.
4-star hotel.
That's a great tip.
4-star in Abu Dhabi is
5-star here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, so I went ahead and booked that, obviously, direct. Obviously earned some flight miles as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously I signed up as a guest. And with that, I also get free Wi-Fi on board the airplane, which is nice. And then on the way back, I booked with a different airline because booking on the way back with Etihad would have made my flight